Dude. What's up, Chris? You there?
Yo, yeah, I was muted. I was talking into the wind here.
Sweet. I heard you, actually. Not really, but...
Oh, you couldn't, no way you could have heard me. I was muted.
I was going to say, I heard you telepathic.
Through your special NSA proprietary backdoor software. Yeah, I know.
So, my son was telling me to look at a video on Wimp. You ever go to wimp.com?
Yes. Yeah, I've seen that.
And there was a video, I'll put it in the chat. Let's see. About vertical farming, which is Agenda 21 in disguise. They're really laying the Agenda 21 stuff on thick these days. And they basically said that in Singapore, there's only 250 acres of farmable land. That's it, 250 acres. Which,
in the whole of
if you look out your window, in all of Singapore. So if you look out your window, like I was showing my son, I pointed out my window at the farmland. I said, "You see where your school is? His school is literally down the street." I said, "That's probably 250 acres right there. That's it." So that's Agenda 21. And if you Google Earth Singapore, it's interesting that they only show Singapore, and then if you look at the mountainous and green forests and tons of land outside, you can't see it.
Yeah, right.
The highest population density.
So it's just stacked on top of each other. You don't get to see the rest of the countryside surrounding it, huh?
No.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty amazing building.
Yeah, you should Google Earth Singapore, and it's amazing. It's in Malaysia.
Singapore. Yeah, I've been there once.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, stopped in there. It was not too spectacular. I mean, they've done a lot of building, I'm sure, since then, but one thing that stood out to me about it is when I went to the public toilet, and then there's a big sign as you're walking in. It says, it wasn't, maybe it was dollars. I think all their stuff was posted in dollars. I think they're on the dollar, I'm not sure. But it said $500 fine for not flushing the toilet. And then that's pretty heavy duty. And then they had an actual guard in there to make sure that you flushed. So everybody flushed the toilet in Singapore, I imagine.
Wow. We were surprised to see with the street view that most of Singapore is in English.
I think so, yeah. It's not officially a British colony, is it? Like Hong Kong.
I don't know anything about Singapore. Nothing.
So 250 acres of arable land. And
that's it.
Feeds
in
everybody.
Entire Singapore. Yeah, and again, if you go Google Earth Singapore and you just click the button once or twice and you zoom out, it's golf courses and mountain ranges and tennis courts and
yeah, it's all green. Amazing. It's just like
all
everywhere
green.
else. It's all green around it. And then you got everybody crammed in this one little island on the end of this sort of peninsula here. Yeah. That's the way. Wow. Yeah, look at all. As you zoom out, you see this, Malaysia. Oh, Malaysia's off the tip of Cambodia, Thailand, Bangladesh, India. And then you got Malaysia, and then it comes out in sort of that I guess that would be a peninsula there, and then Singapore is like right on the very tip of it. All those people are crammed in there.
Mm-hmm. It's funny, if you try to do the street view, drag the little street view guy over Singapore, everything lights up, which means that it's been street viewed camera-wise. But again, if you take that street view icon and try to go outside the limits of Singapore, nothing shows up. Nothing.
You can't have a look-see out in the countryside or anything, huh?
Mm-mm. Tim, are you there?
Hey, dude.
What's up?
Hey, how are you? How you been?
I've been awesome. How about you?
I'm great. Is the meter running?
It'll run at exactly 2 minutes.
Oh, good. Just tell me when I have to put my change in.
You need more than change, my friend. With me, got to get the Canadian dollars out.
You take rubber checks?
No.
Oh, okay.
I've had many of my clients to send me rubber checks. It's not a pretty sight.
Well, yeah. Those NSF fees they're getting up there.
$35.
About 42 where I am.
Is it? Wow.
Yeah, it's I don't know where they come up with the number, but it's ridiculous.
One thing before we get started, and I'll post it in the chat for you, Tim, is you absolutely need to look, and I'm sure you're going to be like, I don't remember this. What happened in 1985 in Philadelphia, it was called the Move Burn. You know about this?
The Move? What is it? The Move Burn in Philadelphia?
MOVE. It was the Move 9. It was a alleged black anti-technology, much like the Unabomber, actually. Natural eating type of thing. They were black people who were always in fights with the police, and the city of Philadelphia literally burned their row home down, and guess how many people died?
Something at all?
11. And they lived living on 33rd Street. So if you take a look at YouTube, yeah. Anyway,
I never heard of it.
You ever
I got people telling me, well, you got to look into the Boer War, which is a turn of the last century. I said, I'm still at 2001. You got to let off a bit. I can't go back that far. That fast. There's too much recent stuff.
Oh no, you'll have an absolute field day looking into the Move fire. They dropped a bomb from a helicopter and literally took every home out. Like 265 families were homeless, and it made Waco look like peanuts. It really did.
Wow, I haven't even looked into Waco too much other than the odd Alex Jones video. But,
where did this take place?
This took place in Philadelphia I can't think of the name. It was right outside Philadelphia. It was when I graduated high school, 1985.
What was the?
Let me.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me hit the record button, and we'll get this guy, and then we'll talk about this other stuff after. So let me go.
Talk show. Recorded live.
Well, everybody. It's been a long time since I've done this talk show thing. It's Markus Allen. It is 5:08 on Wednesday. Today is September 25th, 2013. On the line with me, I see it just popped in. In fact, is two Tims. We have Tim from D.C., and we have Tim from Canada, and we also have Chris Kendall from Oklahoma City. Hello, men.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello.
Cherry Ho. Well, I'm in Philadelphia. We see Cherry Ho.
Cherry Ho. Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
All right, so let's do this. I'm very surprised and thrilled to see that Tim from DC is here because I got a back and forth email with Tim last night, and I meant what I said in my emails to Tim. Won't go into it publicly, but I've noticed that Tim has been on my tail a bit lately, and I reached out to Tim, and I asked him if we could work things out. In fact, that's the reason for this call. I thought the reason that Tim was on my tail was because I started to charge for quote-unquote truth. That was back in December of last year. And then I found out, which was a bit surprising, that actually Tim was having some issues with me before I decided to charge. I said, well, let's do this. Let's see if we can pick up the phone and work this out. So I said, I have no idea what you're upset about, so why don't you tell me what you're upset about? Maybe it's a communication thing, and after I defend myself, if you're not happy with my answers, then, at least we tried to work it out. So that's where we're at right now, and that was, again, the reason why I titled this, Can You Really Pay for Truth? I thought it was all about that, but apparently it's going a little bit deeper than that. So before we get into the talking with Chris and talking with Tim in Canada about my almost year of doing this, charging for my ideas, Tim, what would you like to discuss? What can we do to work this out? Let me ask you this. Is there anything that I can do or say that would make it so we can work this out?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, I was looking at the chat and it looked like I still had a line through me, so I wasn't sure if I was live or not. No, I don't know. I don't know where you want me to go. I mean,
I don't want you to hate me. It sounds like you either despise me or hate me. And
I don't hate anybody. I just don't think it's honest.
Okay.
I just think it's a little dishonest. But it's my own opinion. I mean, if it's my little comment on a blog, I can just always not do that. I mean, it's just like a little. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's just I just don't trust you. Plain and simple.
Okay. I'll ask the question again. Is there anything that I can do or say to make it so that you can trust me?
But why does it matter if I trust you? You already have your subscribers and your payers, everyone that's into what you do. So what does my opinion matter?
Well, if it didn't matter to me, I wouldn't have reached out to you and asked to see if we could work it out. So again,
it's like a year later.
Well,
you've had my email this whole time, and I've never made any bones about how I feel about charging for this stuff. And maybe there was some recent activity on my part that might have sparked your interest, and maybe you thought I was
just going to bring that up, right?
So that's I can understand that, but I don't know. There's just something about when I hear your name, I just get hot, irritated. I don't know why. I mean, it's not like I hate you or anything, and I wish any ill will on you. It's just when I hear people going on about Markus Allen, I'm like, oh, God, come on. It's almost like the same reaction I have when someone's praising Alex Jones or Bill Cooper. I'm like, watch out. That's my instinct.
Okay, so you're putting me in the same category as Alex Jones or Bill Cooper.
Well, when I hear your name, like when I hear people going on about how great Alex Jones is, I'm like, oh, Jesus. But no. But there's certain things that I've noticed over the time that you and I have known each other that it's just weird to talk about. Like, why all these people are logged in to hear this shit is just beyond me. That's why I figured, like, you and I could just talk about this, hash it out. Like, I really didn't think it needed to be a public spectacle. Like, this is the big prize fight.
But as I said in my emails to you, you're the one who made it into a public spectacle by calling me out publicly through the email list, et cetera. And I just thought, you're into that. You like to do that. And I knew you didn't trust me, so if we put it on a recording, if there's anything that I say and it doesn't work out, you can go back to this recording. You can say, you see, you said this, but then you're doing that. So, in fact,
do you really want me to get into everything? You want me to get everything out? Okay.
I'm very transparent, and I think.
You're transparent once people paid your subscription. Then you become transparent. They have to get over that paywall first. You're not transparent for free.
I've been transparent for 4.5 years, so you have 4.5 years to ask me anything you want.
Right. Well, things change, but I mean, it's just the constant witch hunting that you like to do. It all started with that goofy headphone case. You're like, I want to let me hook you up with a headphone set, and I politely declined because I barely knew who you were. And then all of a sudden, you're like, it's odd. Tim doesn't want a headset. And then when it wasn't the headset, it was this meetup that you and I were supposed to do. And then you started going on the call saying, well, isn't it odd that Tim won't beat me? Isn't it odd? But to defend myself, we talked about it passingly on calls. And sometimes I just consider that to be bullshit. We're just like, hey, yeah, we should meet up, whatever. But I never got any emails from you. You had my email by that time. And I remember one time setting up, I emailed you, like, dude, email me when you're in town. I'll give you my number, and we'll hang out. I never heard from you. And then the next call comes. Yeah, Jim didn't want to meet up with me. And you're putting doubt. I'm suspicious for my behavior because I won't meet you. But you never did anything to beyond just a passing conversation on one of those calls to meet me. But then you're putting doubt in people's mind that I'm some kind of perp because I don't want to meet you, which I didn't care for. It was irritating.
Okay.
So
I can understand that. I disagree. I did reach out to you each time, but keep going. Mm-hmm.
But you didn't. You never emailed me, man. You didn't. You can't say that you did because you never. I remember one time I emailed you and I said, it takes more than just a little conversation on a call to meet up. We're both family men, we have busy schedules, so if you want to meet up, we really have to set a concrete time. And you responded, fair enough. Mm-hmm. But then I never heard anything again. I don't know when you're coming to D.C. I don't know. I figured you would say, okay, man, I'm going to be in town, let's hang out. But it didn't happen.
Okay.
So unless you are of another opinion, I don't, It's just dishonesty. It's like that type of shit. Like putting doubt in people's heads over nothing. It was nothing.
Now, let me ask you this. Why would I want to put, I still to this day, I don't know why, I still love talking to you. I love the ideas that you have. And unlike me love bombing Tim, making it seem like Tim in Canada, when I spoke to him last, I'm not looking to love bomb you to trick you. I'm saying I really do enjoy all three of what you guys have to say.
But that's what I didn't understand. That's why I was like, this guy was into it, rapping with me, and I enjoyed all those calls with you guys. You and Chris were like the first guys that I talked to when I started seeing the world for what it was. You know what I mean? So there's not. So it's like, well, why is he like? I can understand you have the conspiratorial mind. We all do, and sometimes our paranoia can get the best of us in certain situations. But it just kept going on, and it was just weird. Like, why would you want to talk to me? But then yet you're putting doubt in people's mind about my authenticity just because, we live 2 hours away from each other, but we can't seem to hook up over the last 4 years. It's just weird. I didn't appreciate it.
I think quite honestly, you're forgetting the times that we did go back and forth by email. But I don't want to get into a pissing match because that to me is a minor thing, and I'm telling you, and I'm going to respond to each thing that you have to say. I have zero desire to put any doubt into you because I like what you have to say. There's nothing that you have done until recently that has made me. Well, when you're slamming me all the time, I'm not really thrilled about that. But there's nothing that you did until that point. There's not enough people talking about this. Why would I want to put doubt in someone else's mind about you if I like what you have to say?
Right. And it could have been easily me just being paranoid about your responses. I'm not, this whole game that we're in, this hobby that all of us enjoy, is very venomous. You have to watch your back at every turn. And so when I first got into this, I was very green. And you guys, you and Chris on those calls, I was so like a retard when I first called in, and everything was cool. But I guess maybe there's a lot of my animosity towards you just comes from the fact that on those calls, you would always, there were these red flags about, paying for calls. And after a while, your tune started to change to where you're like, oh, paying's not all that bad. It's not a huge red flag. Then that kind of gave me a red flag. Well, why is he changing his song now? And then...
But let me stop you right there. You said in your email to me last night that the issues that you have with me came you even said way before I started charging for the calls.
I just started to get paranoid. I started to get very suspicious of your intentions, the way you would manipulate calls, and always try to get topics formed into your opinions, kind of getting people's in the conversations to follow what you're saying and overriding people's calls. It kind of made me suspicious of you. And that happened before the whole pay thing. It wasn't the pay thing initially making me suspicious. It's the way that you would kind of like, at least it appeared that you would manipulate calls, whether intentionally or not, to focus on whatever you wanted to talk about or whatever agenda you might have had on that. Not a nefarious agenda, but just whatever you wanted to talk about on that call. So it was just kind of suspicious to me. And then when you started to want, then when that whole little group that we had kind of dissolved, it was just weird. It just seemed like it had been, in my mind, it had been orchestrated. Making out to be this grand orchestrator, like orchestrating this stuff to dissolve that little group somehow, and then having no one do calls, and that you be the only one that's still doing calls, but yet now you're charging for these calls. So I started to think, well, maybe he purposely dissolved that little group just so he could siphon these people that were looking for our voices to go right to him for a paycheck.
Okay, so let me respond. I think that's fantastic that you're critically thinking like that. I can tell you right to your face, if I could see it, that that's not true. Absolutely not true.
What?
In fact, it pissed me off that the whole thing dissolved. I mean, I finally got to talk to Aaron in California last week. I missed talking to that dude. And I'm going to talk about some of the downsides of me charging. And one of the big downsides is it's not like it used to be. It used to be where we pick up the phone and all of us would chat, and it was great. That's one of the downsides of that. So believe me, I didn't. That is, I appreciate you thinking that way, because I would certainly be thinking that way too. Something was up with what happened, but I can tell you right to your face and in front of everyone on this call, that's just not true.
All right, well, I'll take your word for it, And then what was weird, and I thought in my mind, like right when I started talking with Chris again, it kind of, has been a while, but we were talking, and then I started talking to Ab, and then I got the email from you, and I was like, oh, great, now I'm starting to talk to these guys again, and here comes Mark weaseling in with the drama again, trying to disrupt whatever flow we had going on, or whatever I had going on with these two guys. So, like, that's why I started to get suspicious of why you were sending me these emails and why now. And then I see where you're coming from. You're like, okay, now Tim's on the rampage against me. And it just kind of was I don't always believe in coincidence, but it was just the way.
I'm confused because I don't think I can't remember the last time. You're talking about the email list, right?
Oh, what do you mean?
From what you just said, when you said that I came onto the scene when you
were
talking.
When I just started talking to Ab, through email recently, and then trying to, then I started posting on his blog, and then I uploaded a call from Chris, and then I posted a couple comments that were critical of you, and then you come on to this, not onto that, I shouldn't say scene, but then you came back out of nowhere towards me with emails like, hey, what's going on? Should we talk about this? And I thought you were trying to.
You're talking about the emails to you last night?
No, when you said that on the Skype, when you're like, hey, it's Mr.
Right.
Paul,
Well, that was last night. I forget, or was it the night before? You mean within the last 2 days? You're saying?
Yeah. So I thought you were coming back again to disrupt whatever group might be starting again. That you're like, oh no, Tim's voice is starting to be heard on the internet again, and now I've got to try to break this one up because of what happened with the last group.
No. Well, let's be honest about that, Tim. Now, I can't not respond to that.
Well, this is what's going through my mind. This is why I have lots of doubts about you, man.
Well, let me defend myself, so hopefully I can change your mind back. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, Cave Monk Dave sent an email to this list that we all used to participate in. It was really cool, in fact. And he said, Marcus and Chris were talking about something from 2 years ago, and look, it's in the news. And then you jumped on that, and you're like, I don't want to hear anything about fucking Mark again, something to that effect. Which is funny, but, I mean, that's what started on. Then I've been listening to Chris and Tim anonymously on purpose so there wouldn't be any drama, and they know it. In fact, Tim is the one who outed me on the call with Chris the last time I was there, he's like, "Yeah, I know that's Markus Allen the way he's typing." I only did that because I didn't want to create any drama. If I came on the calls with my real name since I'd been gone, then people would be throwing the whole, "Oh, there's Markus with the pay sign again," and I wasn't looking for that. I was always, I haven't missed a single either recorded or live Tim broadcast or Chris broadcast since December of last year when I made the switch to pay. It's just that I've been anonymous and I've been helping by throwing links up, and then Chris takes the link and he rolls with it, and it's great. And I can't help myself. I love contributing. And I thought by being anonymous that it would prevent the drama issue. So now I'm finding out that that's probably not the best move. But I've always been with these.
Well, But Markus, logging in without your name is deceptive,
But how is it deceptive if I'm giving you valuable information?
Well, it's deceptive because you're the one that says you should log in with the proper ID so we know who it is.
No.
So your story's coming across as a cover story. It's a good one though.
No. I can't let you say that. I don't ever remember
deniability. That's for sure.
Tim, I don't ever remember saying that someone should log in the way you're suggesting to log in.
Okay, well, it is deceptive, though, I think.
Okay.
Would you agree?
No, I totally disagree. No, not if you're providing value and you're not stirring the pot. Now, if you're stirring the pot and you're saying that I think a one world government's a good thing, which is going against everything that most of us are talking about, then that's deceptive. I would agree with that.
So
let's go back to Tim. Hold on. Hey, Tim, let me. So as far as me bursting onto the scene again, I never left.
Maybe I'm just paranoid, dude. Can you blame me of the world we live in? I'm paranoid of everyone's intentions, man. I'm skeptical of everyone's intentions. It's just the way I am. The way I'm sure everyone on this call is. Everyone's just skeptical of everyone. And like I said earlier, sometimes that can run away with you. And I don't know. I mean, we don't really need to keep going over and over everything. Let's just go forward. I mean, what do you want?
But see, that's why I reached out to you I forget it was yesterday or the day before. I'm like, listen, I'm not looking to get you. I'm not looking to use, you said not to use NLP on you. I'm not looking to do any of that. I don't like it when people don't like me. I think that's a human nature.
Let's just fucking bury the hatchet.
Fine.
Well, whatever. We'll let pass is the past, comments the comments, whatever. Just fucking move forward. And I don't want to. I hate this shit. I feel like I'm in the quad in high school gossiping over nonsense, which is bullshit. This is detracting from a conversation where we could be talking about psyops and mind control.
Right.
And this is just like a non-issue. I mean, it's an issue, but compared to what all of us as a group, the amazing group that we had when I first got onto this was fucking awesome. And it was great for everyone to be able to hear all these different ideas and little emails that we would send back and forth. And it's just, now it's like every man for himself and everyone's skeptical of everyone now. It's like, what good is that? What good does that do? It would be better if we all work together. I mean, how that was, that shit was rad, dude. You send a link, Chris would be like, hey guys, check this out, or I'd send a link, and it would be a topic, and it was just a more collaborative effort than it is like just being a one-man show, because not all of us can cover everything. And if we're all reading each other's blogs and listening to each other's calls, and there's really no reason, like, once a month we all couldn't just do a call and just shoot the shit, for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
But that's up Chris and Ab and everyone else. I mean, I don't want to sit here and keep going point by point. It doesn't really fucking matter because it just doesn't matter.
My goal with this entire call, and we can end it right now, the entire call was to get it so that we can move forward. And it sounds like that's what you're looking to do. I'm not, like I said, I'm not looking to get you. I like you. I like most of the things that you have to say. And I can't believe it's come down to this. And obviously something has built up, and that's why I reached out to you. And I said, what can we do to fix this? And if you're saying it's fixed, that would be fantastic. That was what this whole call was about.
Well, just let it go, because I really don't even want to deal with it. I mean, not that I'm like running scared or any of that bullshit. It's just bullshit. This is bullshit. This is why I'm saying we couldn't. I don't know why everyone needs to hear this stuff, but I'm really. It's like almost embarrassing to be talking about. It's like.
Well, we don't have to talk about it anymore. It's again. The bottom line is, I don't like when people don't like me, and it's usually communication breakdown. And I wrote down the 1, 2, 3, 4 things that you said, and each
I'm
time
sure you have a file on me on your computer.
I do, but that's beside the point. There's four. You said the headphone, the meetup, the group dissolve, and the drama, and I agree with you. And those are all 4 of those are complete miscommunications, and I don't. To me, it's just like pick up the phone and work it out. It's like hey, let's put women down. You know what women do when they have these things? They get all catty and shit. Not all women, but most women, right? Hey, but we guys, we pick up the phone and we work things out. So that's why I reached out to you. I want to work it out. Problem solved, right?
I'm fine. I mean, I still don't trust you 100%, which is
I don't think you should trust me 100%.
The way it's going to be, but you can just leave the bullshit alone. Leave the bullshit alone and just forget about it. Because I don't want to waste my time, and I'm sure you don't want to waste your time dealing with this kind of nonsense.
No, it's not that I don't want to waste my time. I refuse to waste my time on this bullshit. That's why I avoid it. That's why I don't go. Quite frankly, and that gets into the whole pay thing, is that these free calls attract the drama. That's the problem that's one of the problems with the free calls. It attracts the people whose only job is to stir the pot. And I, like an idiot, spent 4.5 years. See that? I, like an idiot, spent 4.5 years, not invested 4.5 years, spent 4.5 years getting distracted by people who would come on, and that was their job. When I hear Rolo come on to Chris's call and come on to Tim's call, and he says when these guys don't hear it, I'm going to get drunk and call in. That's fucking distraction. And I want to punch that guy.
Yeah, it's a huge distraction. And I'm sorry if there's an echo. I'm in the bathroom talking. It's the only quiet place. So sorry if my voice has an echo. But no, I agree with you. Let's just fucking get over it. I mean, I don't know. I'll stop being mean to you, and if I feel the need to, I'll be more cryptic in my comments.
Well, why don't you just reach out to me and I will reply to you? It's as simple as that. Just reach out.
It was more fun talking shit about you, to be honest.
I'm sorry. I'm actually having a hard time hearing you in the bathroom. Say that again. What'd you say?
But it was fun getting a little dig at you. I shouldn't have done it, but because of what I thought your intentions were, it made me laugh. But whatever. Sometimes it's just petty shit we get laughed on. So whatever.
Hey, I'm all for fucking around with people, but when it comes to this stuff and you don't know people, you don't know what to think. So anyway, I want to get past that, and then we'll get into the main topic, which is exactly what it says on the call. It says, "Can you really pay for truth?" So I have one question to start this off. In fact, I wrote it down because I think it's the most important question, which is where or who decided it was wrong to charge money in exchange for observations? Anyone want to take that?
Who decided it?
Where or who? Where did this idea come from? Or who dreamt up the idea that it's wrong to charge money in exchange for observations?
I think it's wrong. I think all the other truthers are wrong for doing it. I just don't like it, man. It doesn't sit well with me. Now, the way you have it set up, where you have this wall built up where no one can get anything without paying, I don't like that one. I like that one least than the ones that have a bunch of information on their website, and you have to you can donate if you choose to, or you can.
Do you know about my blog? In the last year, I think I've hit your blog maybe 6-7 times, something like that. But
I don't regularly visit it. I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's more stuff free on that blog than there is behind the paywall.
I don't know. I don't go on the website, dude. Sorry.
So now, again, it's a miscommunication. So now knowing that, do you still feel the same way?
Well, I could have sworn the last time I went on your site there was just a writer. When I went to click on a link, it had some email pop up to where I had to sign up or some shit like that, so I just left. I think that happened a couple of times. When I first started doing the pay, I had like I'm trying to remember, it's so long ago. I went on there, and I forget what article it was, or something was posted on the front page, and then it went to pay, and there was nothing like on there, and I didn't really feel like, I didn't see anything that was free beyond the front page post. Everything else had these things that would pop up and say, hey, don't leave without signing up, so I just left.
Okay. Well, I can assure you, if you sign up for the free, it'll take you to the page, an index page that has all of my free stuff, which is more content than that's actually in behind my paywall.
I'm just you can say whatever you want about paying, and you can praise it and do whatever way. It doesn't sit well with me. I don't like it. I don't like people's opinion, looking into the stuff, me forming an opinion, say this is what I'm getting from reading all this shit. This is the conclusions I'm coming to, and then sitting behind the paywall of that information. I don't like it. I just don't like it, man.
Can I ask you a few questions? Can I ask a few follow-up questions then?
Go ahead. Shoot.
Do you think it's right for a therapist to charge money for a marriage?
No, I don't believe in therapy.
But you didn't answer that's not answering my question.
Do I think it's fair for them to charge? No.
So how do
all this stuff can be found on your own. The problems that people go to a therapist with are problems that can be dealt on their own.
Okay, well, let me take it to the next step then. Do you think that rich people...
This is your twisting questioning, man. This is this shit that gets up
I'm asking you the same questions I'll ask Chris and Tim. Do you think that a CPA or a tax attorney should charge $350 an hour to help rich people get richer?
No.
Why not?
Because I know where you're going with this, man. I get it. I know where you're leading me. I don't.
Well, tell me where I'm. I don't even know where I'm leading. Where am I leading?
You're trying to make it seem like you're providing a service, and is it wrong to charge for a service that I'm providing? That's the gist of these questioning. And I say in certain situations, yes, it probably is okay.
Okay, so I need to know. That's what I'm looking for. That's really where I guess I'm leading. What are the certain circumstances?
I don't know. I don't have a list in front of me. But when I look at the stuff that us look into, I don't think that type of stuff should be charged for, because people are already so scared and so vulnerable once they wake up. They're really kind of like a child left alone. They're looking for something. And then here comes all the people with their hands held out, like, come with me, little boy. Give me $5. I'll help you find the way. Like, I don't like that. To me, it's just I don't like it. So I don't care if someone's doing a tax service, whatever, but when it comes to truth, it's like once you start seeing into 9/11 and media fakery and shit like that, your world is totally changed and flipped upside down, and you're looking for some sort of guidance. And then there's all, like I just said, there's people out there that are willing to give you that guidance as long as you give them some money. Instead of just trying to help these people out, they're already questioning, they're already looking for something. So to take money from that person, I don't think is right. That's just how I feel, man. All right,
let me try a different way. If I were to show you, well, how do you feel about income taxes? Do you think it's okay to pay income taxes?
No, I think it's a scam. What are you going to do? Look, I already told you how I feel. Maybe you should just go to Chris and Ab about these questions. I just don't dig it, man. I don't hate you for doing it. I'm not against you for doing it. I just don't agree with it.
Okay. Well, you're not paying for it.
I know.
That's what kills me about this whole thing is if you don't agree with it, then just don't pay for it.
I understand that, but it's the fact that people that are paying for it are the ones that are so vulnerable, the ones that
you know what? Most. You know what? Then they're the stupid ones, and they deserve to get ripped off by these charlatans. Right?
I look at it that way too. Believe me, I understand that point. These people are so dumb to give that money away, then then let
I mean,
them.
I look at it as
just bugs me. It bugs me knowing someone that's taking that money. So
you mean because you know me personally, you're saying?
Well, personal enough, it's not like we've shaken hands and had a beer, but I mean...
No, I mean, you know me more than you know Alex Jones or Alan White.
Right, and that's what gets me more annoyed about. Like, here's this guy that we were talking to. Everyone it was all ragging out. Here he is doing the same shit that I didn't like. That's what bothers me the most about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Alex Jones, fuck him. Fuck that guy. Fuck all of them. But we knew you. Well, we still know you, but so it's different. I look at it differently. It's like if my brother started doing this shit or a friend had started doing like, hey, man, I'm going to start fucking getting money from these people. Like, well, what's wrong with you? It's just bullshit. You can get money other ways. You're already making a bunch of money marketing or whatever you're doing, so why do you get an extra few bucks doing this shit?
Well, actually, it's actually more than a few bucks, and I'd be happy to go over numbers if you'd like to.
I don't even want to know how much it is because it'll just make me more irritated.
Okay. I'll launch into a Jackie the Joke Man reference just for Tim and Canada. Tim, you know, obviously Jackie the Joke Man. I think we've talked about him before, right?
Oh, yeah. He's been off the Stern Show for quite some time for anyone else who doesn't know.
Right?
The Howard Stern Show.
Yep. Now, Jackie the Joke Man, I actually did a personal marketing consultation about 4 or 5 years ago. And actually, we used to talk, and then he stopped talking to me because I asked him if he thought 9/11 was an inside job, and he literally stopped talking to me as soon as I said that. So Jackie the Joke Man told the same story that we're talking about today, which is he was absolutely hated when his friends heard that he sold out and decided to take his comedy to the Howard Stern Show and make the big bucks. It's like the same story.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'll ask this question again since Tim kind of passed the baton on to Chris and the other Tim, which is where or who decided it was wrong to charge money in exchange for observations? Anyone want to take that?
I don't think there's any one person that has made that clear. I think it's a gut reaction, and I know where you're coming from. I know what your angle is, and I'm close to being on the fence about it because people need to eat. But if I had to make a decision, I would fall on the side of you probably shouldn't charge for it. It just seems like it's slightly immoral because this stuff is so important. It really shouldn't be monetized. It's really life-changing.
Uh-huh. Now,
this reality is what we know is so earth-shattering to most people.
Mm-hmm.
Put a charge on it just would make the message sound cynical.
Mm-hmm.
And it would also maybe color the message because all of a sudden you have an ulterior motivation. So maybe you're not selling or you're not telling quite the truth. You're just telling because you're selling.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a delicate balance. It's a delicate line, but I think I would fall on the don't charge for it. Now that doesn't make it valueless information that people shouldn't value. If the truth is self-evident enough based on you allowing people to look at it, then they'll see the value right away. If they want to make fun of it, then there's a real good chance they're just there to divert and distract, and they're not there for the right purpose, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
They're still. So I just think this information is just too valuable. It gives me chills just knowing what I know and trying to crack someone open to our way of looking at things.
Mm-hmm.
And it really does. It's just so earth-shattering. If I said, listen, I'll tell you something, if you give me $5, it just completely defeats the whole purpose of the message, really, I think.
But I think this is what I want to clear up on this call. You guys are giving the impression, both here, and I shouldn't say you guys, I'm not saying Chris is, I'm saying both Tims are, You're giving the impression that the only way that people get to hear me nowadays is to pay. That there's nothing free floating around, either on my blog or on YouTube, and you both know that's not true.
No, I don't have your menu in front of me. I don't know what's free and what's not free. I don't know.
You put one of the free things on your blog.
I don't even. Yeah, okay. I don't. It was just there, and anything on the internet for the taking or put out there is linkable in my estimation. But if someone doesn't want something linked, then they put it behind a paywall. So
right, exactly. So if you go, you grab the YouTube video of mine. If you go to my YouTube channel, you see all my free stuff.
Okay.
So again, the impression goes out there, which is Mark's all or nothing. You either pay or you get nothing, and that couldn't be further from the truth. I have probably the most investigated blog post about the Sandy Hook thing ever created. You know about that, right?
No. Well, I think I've seen it, but I think I have seen it, yeah.
Okay, so
I can't tell you much about it, though, because maybe I have the impression that might be a chargeable item. I don't know.
Here, let me do this. I will post it into, I'm going to have companion notes on this, and I will post it for those who are live on the call right now. I will post it right here. Boom, and there it is. So you can click on it and take a look. It's exhausting. That thing took me months to create.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what you're trying to say is that we're wrong, and you're just this innocent guy that's being attacked.
No, I don't like when people put out inaccurate statements about what I'm doing. When people say it's Marcus's, pay or you get nothing, it's just a lie. It's a whopper.
No, I don't think I've said that. If you can find that quote, please play it back for me. Cause
I don't think it's it's remember, language is more than just verbal. Body language and innuendo is very powerful.
Well,
so what do you say? It doesn't matter. I'm just putting this out there because I want to do this once and I want to be done with it. I don't want to keep going over this. I have more free stuff out there than paid.
Okay.
Well, there's really no way for us to prove that. We can't see past your wall.
Well, then get someone who's a member of mine to come in and arbitrate the fact that that's the case.
A 3-day visit to your site. We can prove it. Yeah, right.
In fact, speaking of that, Tim was upset. Tim from DC was upset that I switched to a paywall. He was on my calls. I recorded my calls. By the way, all the calls that are behind my paywall are all calls that originated from me hosting talk show. For example, when I was on doing a lot of Chris's stuff, not a single one of those outside my jurisdiction, for lack of a better word, is behind my paywall. And Tim was upset.
My call. I know.
And you said, that's fucking bullshit. And
that's my exact words, people. Exact words.
And
I can't believe you swear like that.
Take those fucking calls down. So I said, fine, Tim. Send me the list of calls, and you sent me a list of 4. I didn't even check to see if you're on.
I thought it was more. I was tripping out. I was like, really? There's only 4? Wow. All right. Well, fuck it. Take them down.
Tim, did you even find out where your cut would have been? I would have asked.
I don't even think I asked, or maybe I made some smart ass remark about it, but it doesn't matter. I don't want to take that money. He's gonna have it. Man, this is all fucking retarded. All right, so maybe we jump to conclusions about you. That's fine, but I don't think it seems to me like you're trying to paint him like this innocent victim, that you was a victim of these attacks. I mean, it's not true. I mean, these aren't baseless things. You are charging for these things, and our right to be skeptical of your intentions and what's being hidden and what's being given for free are totally valid, because we would have that same approach with anyone, and you would have that same approach if we started doing it, and you didn't.
No, actually, I knew that Alan Watt is the only controlled opposition figure out there that I don't know what the right word is. Well, I definitely listen to a lot. I don't think the word respect is the right word, but it's somewhere in the middle. I mean, that guy has literally changed my life to the point where I'm able to be at the point I'm at right now and really enjoying life a lot more than I did just 10 years ago. So, I mean, I owe that guy a ton. But his constant ramblings in the beginning about he needing money and then I speaking to his allegedly fiance where his life is completely opposite, that's a lie. When people lie to me, then that goes out the window. I have no interest in helping the guy out if I'm finding out that he's playing that, woe, poor is me act with everyone out there. And I actually took account. Over 30 different people contacted me, including Chris Kendall, I believe. Chris is on the call. He can confirm this, saying he helped him out, feeling bad for him, and they all thought that they were the only ones helping him out.
Alan Watt, man. He's just, I mean, like you, I was a big fan of his from when I first started getting into this. Like the first year, I mean, I went through all of Jackie Petru's recordings that he did, and then later on, he just switched gears. He just I listened to him probably a year ago, and it's the same references, the same quotes from the same books over and over. And I even noticed that, having not heard him in a long time, the intro, the money groveling part is even longer than what it used to be. It's just, the guy's retarded. All those guys are retarded. They're all a bunch of douchebags. They all should be hung out and shot.
Or not listened to.
Don't listen to any of them. They're all a waste of your freaking time. There's not anything those guys are telling you that haven't been posted come out of Mark's mouth, mine, Chris's, or anyone else's blogs.
I'm going to disagree with you, Tim. There's literally once a show that he has where I'm like, holy crap, that's gold nugget.
The one thing
have you posted it?
The Agenda 21 is something that he came out with, for sure, that I didn't hear anyone else. And I remember hearing that from you, and then I listened to the Watch show. Yeah. But, I mean, to me, in my own personal experience with Alan Watt, I've listened to him for like a year and a half, and I haven't listened to him for probably on a regular basis for longer than that. It's just, they're not worth my time anymore. You kind of already develop these tools to look into this shit. So it's like, all he's really doing is just the same shit that all these guys do, man. It's just, to me, it's a waste of my time to even listen to them. I'd much rather listen to a 9-hour hoax poster, Chris Kendall marathon talk, than 5 minutes of Alan Watt or Alex Jones or any of those guys. But that's me, we're all different, so what is it,
I personally couldn't get into Alan Watt. Maybe it's his accent or his monotone. I couldn't make it through one. I couldn't make it through a show. It was just pretty dry stuff, and I must have missed every nugget because I didn't really record anything. So
he hypnotizes you with that voice. He gets you into a calm state of mind with that monotone that he's doing, and it's just like mind manipulation.
I don't know about that.
Go ahead, Tim.
I just didn't find it interesting. I listen to the No Agenda show thanks to Marcus. At least it's semi-interesting. They mix enough technology because I love technology into it, so I pick up tips in that way, stuff I never heard about. But there's nothing for me with Alan Watt's show. I've listened to a bunch of them. I don't think I've ever made it through one, though. Really. So if you've got nuggets from him, I wish you'd post them so I can see what I'm missing. Or see what
go to the Jackie Petru ones, and then his first the blurbs that he did from like 2005, 2006. Those blurbs are the
Who's Jackie Petru?
Here, I'll get you a link.
She's another charlatan. There's actually an interview with her on. If you go to TalkShoe and you go to Iconoclast page, it was a year ago. He uploaded a thing where he talked to her privately and uploaded that thing. She was just another one of these truthers on RBM. They, did these little shows, and her claim to fame was, one of her claims to fame was that she's the one who kind of brought Alan Watt out of nowhere.
Did she have anything interesting to say, or does she have a decent stand on 9/11, or no?
Well, you don't really. Alan Watt always makes it seem like it's some sort of mystical. He's always like, I won't go there. We all know what happened. I won't go there.
Yeah.
So that's all he says about 9/11. But
I've never heard him talk about 9/11. So if you have a show where he talks about 9/11, put a link to it. I'll listen to that.
He doesn't. He'll just say we all know what happened. That's what he says.
That's amazing.
So then that just caters to everybody else's opinion, all their differing opinions out there. They all think that she's agreeing with their...
That's like ignoring the sun. We all know what it is. Move on.
Because if he takes a stance on 9/11, he might be losing payers.
Really?
Yeah, well, like that guy that he's hipper on, that Lennon honored guy that everyone's so hot on now. He says 9/11 is not what we're told, but he won't take a stance on 9/11 because he doesn't want to detract anybody from his information because his view on 9/11 might oppose theirs. So he just
I understand that. It might affect his paying customers. I suppose that's another good valid point about if you charge, you may have to cater to your customers in some way. So that is another possible disadvantage to charging.
You might want to look into Lennon Honor's background.
That dude's a shyster, man. I don't believe it. Have you been to his YouTube page?
Nah.
He's a freaking new agey. Anyway,
he's got some high production value videos, that's for sure. I know you can't probably do that with a handy cam.
The thing that makes me laugh about that guy is he talks about this sensory overload. That's one of his sticks. The sensory
and he talks fast, and he doesn't.
But if you listen to him talk, he overloads your senses with run-on sentences. He was on John Friend's show yesterday, or the day before, and I posted in the comment on Talk Show, like, first of all, you can't even hear anything he's saying. The worst connection ever. Probably is.
No, I bailed on that. No, I couldn't hear it either.
You couldn't hear him, and I'm like, look, this guy is sensory overload. He's just overloading with all this basic filler material. He won't take a stance on anything, and promotes this new agey stuff all over his YouTube page. I just don't even want to waste my time with him. Just move on to the next one. The next one we can expose. I didn't interrupt you, Mark, about your... I didn't look too much into his history. I looked at his website. There's just a bunch of retardation.
Yeah, if you look at... He's had, quote-unquote fights with rappers and... yeah.
Yeah, it's retarded. He had a battle. I forget who the rapper was, but they had a battle about because he exposed his videos, like, promoting, like, black homosexuality or some shit like that. And it's just like, I don't have time for this crap. I don't have any time. Even his information about this fear-based trauma mind control, but blah, 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 blah. But I don't know what happened on 9/11. Like, get the fuck out of here. I don't have time for you. Go away. Go away.
By the way, I was the one who asked him about, if you listen to his audio he did after being interviewed by Tim, I was the one who asked him, what do you think happened on 9/11, and he wouldn't answer my questions.
Oh, really? I didn't know you had called in. I heard him on John Friend's show first. That's where I first heard of this guy a month ago or so. And I guess
me too.
And I was like, oh, this guy, it was cool. And I listened to it again, and I'm like, wait a second, this is not. At first, it sounded great. I was like, oh wow, this is really cool. Then I listened to it again and kind of was really hearing what he was saying. It's just nonsense. And the second call he did the other day, it was like the worst connection possible. You couldn't hear anything he was saying. Nothing. Not one word.
Well, I wanted to jump in and interrupt because we've now gone 49 minutes and 20 seconds without hearing from Chris. And
he's probably asleep.
I think Chris nodded off.
Wake up, Chris.
I'm just experiencing sensory overload here.
We can provide that. No problem.
Trying to digest all you guys are saying. Well, I said something about paywall last time we did the call. I don't know if you heard it, Marcus, but I just made the point that. What's that?
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I wasn't talking about when me and you were talking. I'm talking about the last time I did a regular call. It was a Monday.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't last Monday, but the Monday before that. Yeah, I just basically thought that, once you do that, you were setting yourself up for being your message being steered, I think, to a degree. Because even Adam Curry talks about it. They mention that from time to time how people will send an email in and saying, I'm not gonna. I was thinking about donating, but I'm not donating now because you said such and such. And he doesn't say that they're pulling their donations because they didn't. It didn't say that, but well, I mean, if it's the case where they're saying I'm not going to donate, I was going to donate, but I'm not going to donate because you said such and such, then it's certainly the case that some people could already be donating, and they decided, well, yeah, I don't like what your stance is on that, and you said something about something, and I just I can't stand for that. I'm just going to stop donating, and that is bound to happen. I don't see how that could be avoided, especially if you have, like, from what I understand, the No Agenda Show has a considerable number of listeners. That among those listeners, you would get, whatever percentage that donates, and then among them, people that would could potentially get, if you're getting on every week, you're going to basically hit on something eventually that somebody's not going to like. You know what I mean? And then out of those people, you get some people that are going to go as far as withdrawing their donations, I would imagine. Mm-hmm. So it's like, no matter what, even though you can say, hey, man, I'm not going to let that influence me, I'm just going to say whatever I want. I don't know. I mean, just trying to, being honest with myself, I would think that I would go like, yeah, I don't know if I want to say this, but I just don't know. This is like real touchy subject. You see what I'm saying? It's just a chilling effect. It's not really.
I do, and I think it comes down to the model, and I've licked that model. I told Adam this when I talked to him privately. I think what he's doing is disastrous, and you can hear it because he'll go weeks, and some people are, trying to figure out whether he's lying or not. He's gone weeks where he hasn't even brought in like $800. When you divide that by 2 people, you cannot be the head of the household making netting basically $500 per show. You just can't do it, or you're gonna have a very different life than you're used to having. Mm-hmm. With that said, what I've done with my model is, let me tell you a real story. In fact, most of my time is spent with my private membership answering questions. I did 75 questions like a month ago, and once it took 3.5 hours. And there's this one guy who won't let me say who he is, what gender he is. He said, I don't even want you to answer the question on the audios. I certainly don't want you to tell people that I'm a member. And I hit the refund button. And I said, fuck you. You don't tell me what to do. I don't think you understand who I am. I don't need your $19 a month that bad. And then what he did is he actually sent me $25 after that, which was very bizarre, as for some sort of payment, and I refunded that. And I'm like, and I think that's where the model comes in. When you have...
By the way, I got bullet payments right away from you. Thank you.
You're welcome. The anonymous guy, right? So, with the No Agenda Show model, if I'm a spook, and he admits, by the way, that most of his subscribers are spooks.
Really?
If I send in $1,000 donation, Chris is absolutely correct. I could say, hey, Chris, I really appreciate your show. Here's $1,000. And with that said, I'm going to make a show-by-show donation of $1,000, but you can't talk about the Jews. You're talking about the Jews too much. I disagree with that. It's not the Jews that are doing things. It's the Sufis. If you get away from the Jews, I'll send you $1,000 a week. Believe me, that is really hard to resist when you're relying on that money. At $19 a month per person, it's not a big deal. So keep going.
Well,
with your thoughts, Chris.
That's a different. You're talking about 2 different things. When you're setting up kind of a no ceiling on your donations, definitely setting yourself up. But you could even have. I'm just thinking in paranoid terms too. If you want to go there, that if there was an organization like, say, Homeland Security or whatever you want to call them, the powers that be, and they say, yeah, this information is getting a little too touchy for us. Let's just go ahead and let's steer it where we want to steer it. And you've basically just handed them the reins, you know. And even though you're getting $20 a month, that could be, you know, just like we know that they do with their software sock puppet activities and all that. You know, if they can pose as multiple people, and then all of a sudden you're saying something, and then you're getting like 3, 4, 5 emails, and they're apparently from different people, and they say, you know, I'm a regular donator, and you said such and such, and you shouldn't say such and such, and I'm going to go ahead and pull, and then all of a sudden you're like, your income's dropping, it's dropping. I just don't see how that could not influence you. It would, I think, and I mean, I'm sure it probably would me, you know, if I'm kind of reliant on that to get by on. I don't know, there's some beeping going on there.
Yeah, it's not my phone. I just checked.
That's not me.
I think we're being infiltrated again.
So keep it going, Chris.
Well, I mean, you see my point though on that. Even if you,
I would say it depends. I would respond by saying it depends on the person. If it's me, no, that's not going to influence me at all. In fact, I laugh when people try. It's happening. I absolutely have at least 1 or 2 shills that are members that are, in fact, one long-time one that I've known for a long, long time, who is trying to push me away from certain topics, and I know what's going on. I'm used to it when I did it for free, and I literally block them. I've literally blocked them. And by the way, I think I lied. You can quote me on this. When I said that I refunded this guy's money, actually I offered to refund the guy's money and cancel him as a member when he was telling me what to do, and he didn't take me up on it. That's when he sent me $25, and I did refund that. So I want to be very clear on that. So, yeah, I mean, when it comes to me, no, I don't put up with that bullshit. I don't need the $19 enough to be told what to do, and it does not influence me. In fact, anytime I get an email question that's part of the deal, is I look at it and I'm thinking, okay, they're trying to steer me in the direction that, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then when I go to answer that question, I'm like, no, I don't agree with this, and then I move on to the next question.
So if you were to say something...
I can see what... I'm sorry, go ahead, Chris.
Well, I was going to say, if you were going to say something like, you know, yeah, I don't think the Jews run everything, and you decided, well, you know, this call I'm going to kind of go into this in depth, and I'm going to spend about, you know, 20 minutes on it, and then you notice that after you do that, and immediately you get, you know, 10, 15 people drop off your subscription list, and then you get a couple of emails saying, yeah, you're trying to steer us away from the Jews, man. You know, I don't like that. You know, I'm not going to donate to you anymore. You don't think that would have any kind of influence over you at all?
No, because I don't need the money. See, if I need the money, if I needed to survive on this, then I could probably see where you're coming from. Even with me, probably not the way I am. But if I didn't, I don't need the money. I mean, the money I get is fun money. It's fun money. I admit that. I'm not going to sit here and play, you know, woe is me, and, you know, you got to help me out because my web hosting bill is $90. I don't do that. My web hosting bill is $90 because my other business pays for it. So, you know, I don't pull the old that stuff. I don't care if 15 people drop off, and fuck it. I don't care. I don't need the money.
Well, that's one thing. If
you need the money, it's different. And I agree with you. But if you don't need the money, who cares?
It's one thing if you don't need the money.
Why do you do it?
Say again?
If you don't need the money, then why even charge for it? Or you just want to? I mean, are you just getting a kick out of it?
No, I talked about this December 15th of last year. It's because the free model isn't working. I mean, if we go right now and go to, I'll give a plug to Tim. If you go to fakeologist.com, I'll put a link.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go to fakeologist.com and look on the right-hand side. He posts live stats on how many people are listening to his stream. There's one. That's ridiculous. He deserves better than one. His stuff is awesome. And I'm not love bombing him as he accused me of last time. I'm telling you the truth. Tim's stuff is awesome. This guy is a maniac. He sits there and posts 4 posts a day and YouTubes and goes on other people's sites and does all the commenting. He does all this work for fucking one person? Come on. That's ridiculous. Same thing with Chris. Can people show up for a call on Monday night? We talk about the most amazing things ever. 10 people? All right, so now I'm going to brag a little bit. Now, I don't know if you saw my Flight 175 video, Tim, but guess how many people have checked out that video?
Oh, I saw all the people posting it as well.
So how many people have viewed it?
Shit. A lot.
It was over
100 grand by now.
When I checked, it was over 10,000, right? Am I right? Am I way low?
Okay, now go check here. I'll post a link. Go check the numbers.
I can't read the bathroom. It's too loud.
Okay,
I'll take your word for it.
I just posted it, Tim, or I. It doesn't matter. I'll say it's 460,951.
Wow.
Wow.
Now why is it that all of a sudden I'm starting to charge for my observations that all of a sudden people are taking notice? Why?
Well, it also probably coincides with you uploading it right around 9/11 too, though.
Sure.
If you would upload that in March, I doubt it would be at that many hits.
Okay. So you think maybe it would be 100,000 hits?
I don't know, man.
But you did tell us any YouTube with that kind of number, we have to be suspicious, so.
Absolutely.
Mark, I also remember on calls in the past we were saying that they can fudge the view numbers. A view number doesn't actually mean someone watched the whole video. It could just be someone clicked on it and clicked on it. But
they actually fudge the view numbers down, not up.
Well, regardless, if that's 400,000 doesn't necessarily mean a full watch.
Well, I can tell you why I got 460,000. It was from one site.
Godlike?
No. Esquire magazine, something mainstream. It was like a Squire magazine, or it was something like that. Yeah, but that's because now that is my job, I take it very serious, and I use my internet marketing skills, and I contact these websites and suggest that they run my video.
That's good, man. That's great.
And you do that because you're getting paid to do it, right?
I'm getting paid to do it, yeah, and I enjoy it. I mean, I'm getting paid to do something that I did for free for 4.5 years.
Can we just agree that we just disagree on the paywall and just move on?
Yeah, but that's what this call's all about.
No, I know, but we just obviously we can rearrange it 20,000 different ways. Obviously, we have different views on the paywall. I don't agree with it. Where you're showing the benefits of it, which is fine, but the three of us, or for the most part, won't speak for that from me at least, to show you the downside that it can have when you start paying for it. So, I mean, at least if people listen to this call, they're going to get 2 points of view, the ones that are pro, the ones that are con, and then we can just let them make up their own mind.
Right. It's not something to get... It's not something to get angry about. I don't understand the anger. Like, I am baffled.
The anger, I told you, is because I knew you. I'm like, why is this guy fucking... It felt like you were almost leaving the group to... I don't know. It was just this weird concept I had in my head that it was almost like I felt betrayed. Like, this guy's now... Here we have this rad little thing for free that we're doing, and now here this guy runs off with all the little nuggets of information that's charging for it. You know, I just didn't like it. I think it didn't sit well with me. Not that you stole anything specifically from us, or there was anything to steal, but I mean, it was just like, here's this group that's doing it for free, and then one guy breaks off and charges for it. It just didn't sit well with me.
It sort of seemed like he was spinning you into La La Land, which he advised you to be careful about,
right,
for all those years. So
right.
Certainly see your point, Tim.
But it's not. I don't understand that, and now I hear you. I still don't understand the anger part. Like, I told Tim, I think it is an injustice that both Tim from Canada and Chris Kendall are giving away their pearls of wisdom. When you ask Chris, I forget who asked, if it was me or someone else. I'm like, what do you think about our advice? And Chris says, it's priceless. Well, you know what? In this system that we have with money, and everyone else has a million decisions on what to do with money, it's hard to charge priceless. People don't value that. So you've got to come with a number. And, there's a certain sweet spot on the number. I think I've hit the sweet spot. And the bottom line is I'm not happy that Chris Kendall, and I'm not happy that Tim from Canada is giving away this stuff for free, because I think it cheapens the message. We got one person listening at his site. That's ridiculous.
But that's the way these guys look at it.
Yeah.
Say again?
Go ahead, Tim.
You look at it as them giving it away as cheapening it, or they look at it as charging it as cheapening it. So I guess we're just at an impasse.
Yeah,
different
that's true.
Mm-hmm.
So Marcus,
I just don't understand the hate and the anger. That's all. I'm trying to figure out what
the anger is because I knew you. It pissed me off. I wanted to punch you in the face, but since I can't punch you in the face, I had to punch you on the internet.
I don't hate you, and I'm not angry at you actually, and so just so you know,
it was more like a letdown. It wasn't like I was. Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't like it. I felt.
You were disappointed.
I was just disappointed. I was like, "Fuck this guy." This is retarded. But that's my own interpretation of the situation that went down, and some of my opinions that formed after that were probably incorrect over my distaste for what happened. But we talked, and we just have different views on it. That doesn't mean I'm going to fucking hate you or go on bashing Mark. It's just we talked, we just have different views on how to present this information. That's all there is to it.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you're charging,
and believe me, I have no skin in the game to convince any of you to go to the paywall. I mean, I get nothing out of it. I don't get a cut. It's not going to change the way I treat you guys. I just feel that there was this massive sudden shift as soon as I went that way, as if I had sprayed myself with E. coli or something, and then all of a sudden, everyone's got this really weird feeling about talking with me.
They probably felt betrayed, man. They felt like you were going to pump them for information so you could start selling it on your page.
But I've never done that. I've never.
Marcus, you shifted yourself. You took yourself off TalkShoe, and then you came into all the calls anonymously. So you did the shift. Nobody else did the shift. You did.
No. I did not come into all the calls anonymously. I came in because you guys weren't talking. You weren't talking to me. I tried calling in. If you remember, Tim, your first call, you blew me off. So I mean,
I didn't. Well, I wasn't blowing you off. I didn't know who you were, and
you blew me
off. Talk shows is. Well, I know you thought so, but it was more somebody. So I didn't know who you were from Adam, and someone put it into the text. Watch out! This guy will take over the call. So I was allowing you to have a question, and I hadn't really had any potential or plan for the call, but I did want to interview the one person who was the scheduled guest. So it wasn't really to blow you off. It was just to limit you to your one question and comment, and then move on, like most talk shows.
Okay, so again, I want to clear no. Well, no, because when you do 3-hour calls like we do, you don't cut someone off after 2 minutes.
Well, I didn't know it was going to be a 3-hour call. I don't even know if it was, actually.
It was pretty long.
See, I hadn't even discovered you guys, actually, on the first call.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all. I didn't know you did 3-hour calls. So when you came in, someone just left that little note in the chat, and that was how that can easily be explained. But in retrospect... Yeah.
In retrospect, the bottom line is nothing changed with me. I continue to come on the calls. I expressed my frustration that only 10 people were listening. I wanted to do something different so that we would get more people to come listen to us.
So now that you've got the paywall, Marcus, is that what you're saying is that you have more interest in your information than you ever had before.
This is what I didn't understand. This is the one thing that I thought was weird. Is when you say, because I remember when we would do these calls, and I remember, like you just said, you were complaining, like there's only 5 people on the call. That's why I thought that you dissolved the group on purpose. My paranoia kicked in, because I'm thinking, because then I heard you saying that you had more people listening to you now that weren't, now that you're charging. So I was like, he dissolved this group, and then now no one's talking, and now everyone's shifted over to him to pay for it. That's why I thought it was done on purpose. Because how can you have more people listening to you when no one even was listening to you for free? How do they even discover you?
Well, that's what I'm asking, because
make
we haven't even... I mean, Marcus said he was going to discuss numbers, and you guys said no. I think, why not discuss numbers? I mean, why? Because that's that issue here, because I think, Marcus keeps saying that, the free wasn't working. Now that he's doing paid, that, the whole point being that you want to kind of get the information out to more people, and that, not charging for it gave it the impression that it wasn't worth anything. So now that it's got a price tag on it, what are you seeing, Marcus, as far as people taking interest in it?
All right, you know that one video, and I've got many videos, 460,000 views. I know Tim has asked me before to show proof, and then when I showed proof, he said, I don't know if that's really true.
Well,
show it again. Not you, Tim, but Tim, Canada Tim.
Oh, okay.
Right, so
how would I know?
Sorry?
Yeah, how could I verify it?
But I've had close
well,
to
you have to go. I
video
think
before.
I think that it's good that you think that way, but I think you also have to look at reputation, trust. Can I create something on the fly in 5 seconds using a screen capture? That would be a lie. That would be pretty hard to do. But it's up to you if you want. It's really up to you if you want to believe it. Really.
I believe it.
Just tell me this. I'm going to take a snapshot. I'll take snapshots on the fly. And I don't know if I can put timestamps. All right, so I'm going to go to annotations, and I'll take a snapshot, and we'll run the numbers for you. And
so you guys can look, because I'm not on my computer right now, so I can't look.
But I mean, what are you saying, Marcus? That you got 400,000 views on a YouTube video is proof of what you've been saying, that is somehow attributed to you now charging for information? Is that what you're saying? I just want to be clear.
100%.
Well, I have a video that I have over 400,000 views on myself. But I never did. I've never put any monetization on any advertising or anything on anything that I've done ever. I mean that.
Neither do I. What I do, and that's why if you look at the screencast picture, you'll see something called annotations. YouTube has a very secretive way, and I'm sure it's going to go away probably soon because it's Google and they like to take things away, where you can actually put a link in a video to your website.
Uh-huh.
And if you look at that, it says I have an 11.42% click-through rate, meaning out of 460,000 plus people, 40-something thousand people came to my website.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah.
That's on one video. That's one video. I have many videos. Now, I don't have an easy way to show you in one screen capture what my click to subscribe rate is, but it's about 10.5%. I have to run a couple different spreadsheets to make that happen. So if that one video, you go 460,000, a little over 46,000 people came to the site, 10.5% of those people became a subscriber, and my subscription to member rate is hovering about 3% of my list size. So if you take that, that's about 4,000 subscribers, times 3%, that's about 120 subscribers off the one video. And that's one of many sources.
So you got 120 times 20? That's pretty good money. 120 times 20 a month?
No, because I did something. I tested something where it's if you make a yearly payment of $99, it's almost half the price. It's more than half the price. So it's half that amount.
So how much a month roughly?
How much you hauling in? Give us the bottom line.
I just gave you I just told you the bottom line. The bottom line is if those numbers, those are the numbers.
Multiply it out for us that are hard of thinking.
Okay, well, 120 times 100 is that's $12,000, right?
I think so. That sounds good to me. That's a month?
But see, that's my point, Tim, is now that you've heard those numbers, now you're like, oh, that seems good to me. So you want to...
But I wouldn't do it. I can't do it, man.
You wouldn't... Tim, seriously, you wouldn't want to do what you're doing right now and helping people.
Well, I couldn't
and not get
now.
paid that kind of money. You wouldn't want to quit Trader Joe's and do that.
I'd have to change my identity. Think of how much money I'd save. No, I can't, man. That's a lot of money. And it would help with 2 kids and all that other shit, but I just, I can't do it, man. I can't do it. I just don't think it's right. That's my personal choice. You know, it might be the wrong choice 10 years from now, but it's just, I can't justify it in my own head to do it. You know, but that's me. You know, to make it.
And that's fine.
Different, you know?
And that's fine. The two goals I have with this call was to make up with you, make it so that we're not fighting. And the second goal was to discuss this. And I personally feel, I think that Chris Kendall is worth that, and I think Tim is worth that. The one I will say, not as much on Tim. I'm going to have to lay it in on Tim, only because he doesn't have Tim Canada. Only because Tim admits that he doesn't want to give solutions, and you're going to have a really hard time.
I did. What do you mean? I didn't want to give solutions?
You said the show. You said repetitively, I think, that this show is not about talking about solutions.
I'm all about it. That's
right.
Now,
if you were to switch that,
talking about 9/11.
If you were to say, because of 9/11, this is fake, we have nothing to worry about, which is, by the way, but these numbers that I'm giving you, you could add a 0 to those numbers if I did the typical Alex Jones scare the crap out of you, how life is horrible, and if you listen to me, I'll give you a good life. I don't do any of that. On my selling page, it's like, you get my archives, you get my audios, sign up. There's no emotion whatsoever. So I could really rake it in if I played that fucking card. So the bottom line is, if Tim were to go from because of 9/11 and then draw it into, here are the ways to navigate through life in my experience, this is what I've experienced. And if you had money coming in, you could try different things. Like, I had one subscriber, the same person who wanted to be anonymous, who gave me a phenomenal tip about how that's even better than a neti pot, the idea I got from Chris. He's like, if you think a neti pot is good, you should try this thing. Well, the thing's $90. I'm going to take the money, go try it. Maybe it sucks. Maybe it's great. I did the same with calcium supplements. I did the same thing with what's the gray hair? Not calcium. Copper. With copper supplements. I did 6 months of copper supplementation for my members, and I'll even tell you the results. It flunked. It didn't work. It didn't get rid of my gray hair. Now, maybe it's just me, but that's what I do, is I take their money, and I test things out, and I give them solutions, and I give them things that don't work. So that's what I do.
Hair dye work.
Sorry?
Hair dye work.
Hair dye does work.
Just for men.
So I think this whole truth thing is a huge red herring. Oh, you can't charge it. I don't talk about really truth and behind the paywall. I talk about solutions. I talk about how you navigate through life. How do you live like a millionaire on nothing?
Well, yeah, you're
you're right. I don't talk about that. You're right, and that really isn't the thrust of my discussion. So I'll agree with you there if you're saying it like that. You're right. That isn't what I'm interested in, actually. I will throw out some things that I'm doing, and most of them I get just because of the investigation, but it's not the main purpose. That's for sure. But it does come up now and then, just by the nature of what we're looking into, suppressed information.
Right, but that's only half the story, and no one's going to really pay you. You're going to have a really hard time convincing someone to even give you $19 to take the best of ab shows that you've done and put them out there if they're just observations about how we're getting screwed.
You're right, and I'm not trying to do that. I'm not. That's not in my plan. I'm not worried about that.
Mm-hmm. So I have I still haven't heard Chris finish up.
Come on, Chris, say something.
Well, what was I saying about the... Oh, okay, well... Oh, yeah, I'm sensitive.
You're not getting your money's worth tonight, Chris. Start speaking, or we're going to start charging you.
Well, okay, here's my 2 cents then. No pun intended. Here's what I was going to ask. So now that you're reaching more people now, Marcus, then, or you think so?
Oh, I know so.
So more people download and listen to your the information that you're putting out that did before you started charging.
Oh my God, it's night and day. Yeah.
Really? I don't.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. I didn't know. No, I didn't know that.
Before I logged on here, I haven't been on TalkShoe in ages as far as hosting a call. I log in, and all my calls are gone except for like 3, and one's like a short little one with my wife. By the way, you asked to hear my wife. If you go to TalkShoe, there's an audio of my wife.
Okay, I'm going to look at it.
Are you talking about? You're talking about where you went to Fiverr and you hired 3 actors and got them to pose as your family.
Right. So I went to, before I came on here, I went to go check. I was like, oh, I'm sure nobody's listening to these 3 calls. There was a record number of people were listening to 3 calls. There was like 600 this week. 600 people. Holy shit. I haven't been on TalkShoe for like a year, and there's 600 people listening. Why? What's the difference? The only difference, I'm saying the same thing. The only difference is now it's a job for me, and I'm more active, and I promote it more, and I'm getting 460,000 people to look at one video, 26,000 for the Alex Jones one. Who can you trust with like 30,000? I have time to make more professional-looking videos, which is shady. When you see other people doing that, you should be suspicious of that if it's really professional-looking. But what I found out is that people take me more serious when I put out more professional things. So I've done that. So it's like you're damned if you do. No matter what numbers I tell you guys tonight, you're gonna have a problem with it. If I told you, I only have 10 members, you're like, see, your paid thing doesn't work. If I tell you, I've got 120 members, you're like, holy crap, you're a fucking sellout. It's like you can't win no matter what you do.
I think you could have won regardless. I mean, you're making. If you're doing $12,000 a month, you're pulling in almost $144,000 a year just from your truth.
It's actually going to go up, Tim. I hate to tell you that, but the numbers are going up actually.
That's too much, man. It's good for you, man. Right on.
Make sure you pay your taxes because you just made it public.
Well, now see, I read what you said on your blog about the more you make, the more you got to pay to the government. And that's not true. I got a nifty little surprise. I was pissed off at my accountant a woman, CPA. I was pissed off at her because I had a crazy amounts of money. I had my worst year ever, like, for my business. And I'm like, I have to pay what? I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. The IRS is fucking bullshit. It's a volunteer tax. I laid into her. I said, give me the secrets of your fucking rich friends. And she actually gave me one secret that has led to this aha moment about how the tax system works. I'll even tell you what it is. Municipal bonds. If you buy municipal bonds, they are federal tax-free, local tax-free, state tax-free. And it doesn't matter how much you make. You buy, she said, I had one client who bought $250,000 in municipal bonds, and you will not have to pay a penny of tax on it. He buys them. When they expire, he gets it. No taxes. And then I started looking into this other guy because I was doing a Google search, and I found out all kinds of totally legal ways to not pay any taxes. Totally legal. It's the loopholes of the rich and famous. One is life insurance. I hate life insurance. I got rid of my life insurance policy just 2 months ago. Biggest mistake I ever made, because that's totally tax-free. So there's all kinds of ways to not pay taxes. So that's not even true. That's even a lie, that we have to pay taxes. The more you make, the more you pay. It's bullshit.
Well, the tax rate goes up the more you make where I live, so.
Well, maybe it's different in Canada, although I doubt it. But like I said, if you put your savings into muni funds, it's totally tax-free. And that's what all the rich people do. Of course, they don't tell you that. No one's going to tell you that. I literally couldn't believe that my CPA told me that, because that's a violation of the Privacy Act. But she told me it, and I looked into it, and it looks like it's true. See, it's not, Tim, it's not all about 9/11 and Sandy Hook. It's about, you know, we make really bad choices in life. Really bad choices. And if you're going to want to emulate, you know, if you want to make it so that you bring home more pay, and instead of paying that volunteer tax to the IRS, you see what the rich people are doing. Does anyone remember Leona Helmsley, what she said?
No, what I remember were the 9 million shoes.
Let them eat cake.
Right. Do you know who she was married to?
Oh, no. I don't remember.
To the owner, I think his name is Harry Helmsley, and he created the Empire State Building. And he didn't have to pay $9 billion and something or other. And she allegedly went to jail and she said, only stupid people pay taxes. And I don't even think she went to jail. They said she went to jail. I don't think she even went to jail. I think it was just a message to let the stupid people know that you're paying taxes and we're rich and we don't have to pay taxes. Keep going, Chris. I keep interrupting you. I'm sorry.
I got you got me thinking about this. I mean, I could just put this in here. You know, I was telling you I had a video. It was over 100,000 views or 400,000 views, something like close to it, or I mean, actually a little bit over that. And then you know, I got a couple that are 200,000 views over. I could say that, you know, when I get that high a view count on these videos, I have my stuff branded. You know, I have my channel and all that, and I don't get much of an increase in downloads at all. Maybe, if any, like a handful, maybe. When I have a video that goes up that high in view counts. So maybe there's something to it, like what you're saying with it's, you know, having a fee on there. I don't know. I mean, because it doesn't seem like that there's that much interest in stuff just putting it up there. But I mean, I'll just put that in there with it.
Every day, I have an autoresponder now. I used to respond to every single email a year ago. Now I don't respond to anyone who doesn't pay, except for people I know. If Tim emails me, I'll respond to him. Mm-hmm. So, and it basically says, well, it doesn't matter what it says. The bottom line is I get about, it gets 10 to 15, I get 10 to 15 per morning. And then at nighttime, it really takes off. People who are like, holy crap, you're an asshole. Holy crap, I didn't know this stuff. Holy crap, I thought I was the only one who knew 9/11 was a media job. It runs the gamut. It's like, I wish you were here looking at this, and I wish you would be doing it. I wish you would be getting the same thing. You literally would, and this is why I think you need to charge for it. It literally becomes a full-time job with all the accolades and criticism, and I know you guys can handle that. Just, you're missing out on it. You're missing out on it because, again, you're falling, I think, you're falling for this, oh, if you charge for truth, you're a bad person, but who knows where the hell that came from. And it's like porn, you know, I can't explain why it's bad, but I just don't feel good about it. Well, by the way, I think, and I've talked about this many times, I think voluntary porn is a very good thing. You know, if someone's doing porn because they have a gun held to their head, that's really horrible. But I have no problem with, you know. There's another little tip for you little horny people out there. If you go to Reddit Gone Wild, have some fun with that. These are real people who are exhibitionists. Real people who love showing off their body on Reddit. I won't post a link to that because that will get me banned by Google or something like that when it gets spidered. But just type in Reddit Gone Wild, and you're welcome. So I like looking at porn. I think it saves your marriage. I've learned new things I didn't know that they didn't teach me in school. So this whole thing that they keep telling us, oh, it's really bad, porn's really bad, oh, charging for that kind of stuff is really bad, yet they're doing it. The people who are telling us not to do it, they're doing it themselves. It's just a way to get rid of the competition. You convince the stupid people, like I was stupid, I thought for years that, you know, charging for this stuff was bad. You convince them not to do it, and then you have less competition. Simple.
Well, I don't necessarily think that the three of us are stupid.
No, we are stupid to believe that we should go through life being fucking volunteers and being slaves and cleaning up the roads because it's good for volunteerism, while they sit there and they live the lap of luxury, flying all over the place, enjoying life, staying in swanky hotels, while we're sitting there volunteering and picking up trash off the side of the road. Because how dare you volunteer and expect to get paid for it? I mean, give me a break. No, that's stupid. Sorry.
Well, I don't pick up trash, and I don't really care about swanky hotels. So,
well, have you been to a swanky hotel, Tim?
I've walked by one.
Have you stayed in a swanky hotel, Tim?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, not unless somebody. I've seen them in pictures. I used to watch Lifestyles of the Rich and Stupid too, but in the end, it doesn't really add up to much.
Okay. Well, all I can tell you is my wife was, she used to brag about how she loved staying on vacation in a tent. And now you wouldn't catch her dead in a tent. In fact, the only time she'd have a tent is if the tent was in a luxury hotel.
Well, how about this? I wanted to stay in a luxury hotel, but I had 15 subscribers drop off this month because I wouldn't explain to everybody how it was all about reptilians.
I guess we just look at it differently, dude. Who knows? You know, it's all right.
All I can say is I don't recommend Motel 6 because there were bed bugs. And when I went down to Florida, I booked a bunch of Motel 6s, and I'm not going to recommend going to the bottom of the barrel either. You do have to go up a little higher.
Tim, Hotel 6 is not a swanky hotel, it's a skanky hotel. There's a difference.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know.
The K and the
when
W.
the lady at the night desk was behind 3 feet of glass, I knew I made the wrong choice in the wrong neighborhood.
So there's someone on the line who apparently wants to chime in and yell at me. Before I do that, does anyone want to chime in a little bit more, or you want to
my time's running short soon, so I'm going to have to split pretty quick.
Okay. Anyone else want to chime in before I take this call?
I don't have nothing else.
No, I'm good. I think my position is well understood. I'm not trying to emulate what you're doing at the moment. I don't hate you. I'm not angry at you. If you're doing really well, that's really, really good as well. But that's really not what my broadcast is all about. I didn't even know I would go this long with my broadcast, but I actually enjoy it. And it's really opened my eyes to what's going on even in my own neighborhood. I can hardly believe it. And I don't really want to charge anyone for it. Because just someone saying thanks and I can't believe that someone else thinks this way, that's enough payment for me. Really, it's
okay, that's actually, before you run, and it sounds like you're losing your connection, that's actually
No, I'm not running.
Okay. That's a question actually that I'm curious about. Have any one of you actually had someone not only thank you for what you're doing, but thank you because you're doing it for free? Have you had that?
I haven't had anyone thank me. I really don't need their thanks. Like I wrote on one guy's comment to my blog. My blog is mainly just a document of my journey. If anyone finds any use of it, that's fine. It's mainly just for me to look at. But ever since I posted that DC thing, there's been tons of people hitting my blog up now, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's because I'm linking to it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I like your toothpaste thing. That was great. I got to get those ingredients.
I just made some the other day, man. Baking soda and coconut oil. Good to go.
How much would you sell it for if you were going to put it in little tubes?
I don't know, dude. I don't even think I would. It's fun. Out of all the stuff on my blog, that one has, besides the DC shooting now, that one has the most views. That one and the Hoax was called. Of course, I just did it.
You know, speaking of views, Tim, I don't know if you heard about this, but I live about an hour and 10 minutes away from the Trader Joe's in Media, Pennsylvania. And did you hear what happened to them this weekend?
Excuse me. No. What happened?
Their entire refrigeration went on the fritz.
Yeah, we had that happen out here last summer.
And do you know what they did with the food?
threw it all out.
And I was thinking about Chris Kendall about this. He should write a little book about this. They actually had someone posted that on Facebook. It said, "Get free shrimp from Trader Joe's," because what they did is they literally took brown baggy, garbage bags, and took everything and threw it out in the dumpsters.
That's what we had to do last year. Remember last year we had all those storms? You had the similar weather. Not this one, but the last one we had all those power outages and all that bullshit going on. We threw out, I think one weekend they threw out like $35,000 worth of food. It might even be more than that.
Wow.
We couldn't sell it, You just put it in shopping carts and throw it in the freaking trash. All the meat, yogurt. I mean, every perishable item was gone.
Well, it's a lot cheaper than making somebody sick and then they sue your butt, right?
Right. I mean, people dig through the people dig. I mean, I'm not going to derail it. People dig through the trash no matter when we put stuff out there. I mean, it's just there's always someone out there digging for apples and bananas, and they even take the meat. I'm like, if you want to take the meat and risk it, go ahead. That's on you. Cook it.
But they lied. I said to the cashier, I said I can go out right now and go help myself. She goes, no, they're armed. She goes, they're armed, not policemen. There are armed policemen at the dumpsters.
Wow.
So when I hear that, I'm like, I got to check that out for myself. And there were no policemen there.
There's no, because the biggest concern that they have when grocery stores do that is when you throw stuff out like that, people can go to other stores and return it. Because Trader Joe's return policy is you don't really need a receipt. You just have to bring the product back. Mm-hmm. So they're probably the most skeptical of people digging through the trash and bringing it back for cash because they don't really, their return policy is really less. It's company-wide. That's just how they do it.
All right, so I've got this guy or woman on the phone. Before I get to this man or woman, I had one more thing that I wanted to talk about, and then we'll take it on, which is manipulation. And I know Tim from D.C., one of the concerns you have about me is that I use NLP to trick people into doing things, which is, you're absolutely correct, 100%. So here's the question for you. Do you think that manipulation is always a bad thing?
Dude, you make me feel like I'm in school, man. Do I have A, B, and C? What answers do I have to pick from? I just, the way that you steer calls and these questioning, the questions that you're giving us on these phones, they're baiting us into certain answers that you already have rebuttals for.
Okay, so would you like to...
It's called framing the debate. It's a very good technique.
Yeah.
All right, so let me just get into it. I don't think that manipulation is always bad. I think it's like a gun. Are guns good or guns bad? Depends on how they're used. For example, I can use NLP, I don't know if you're aware of this, to make it so that if you have a backache, in less than 6 seconds, make it so your backache goes away.
I know there's pros and cons to all this shit, dude. It's just... When you Skype me, I said, don't fool that shit with me. Let's have a real talk.
And I did.
So, yeah, so that's cool. If you want to use NLP with other people, have at it. Just don't fuck with me.
But I'm trying to convince you that maybe being absolutist about things might not be the way to go. Again, that's your...
I try not to be absolute, but I understand how it can look that way. That's why if you want to use NLP with someone else, that's fine. But if you're reaching out to me to get rid of this crap, I don't want it to be used. Let's just talk real, man to man, no bullshit, no games. Let
me tell you the reason I bring it up, and that's where Chris Kendall comes in, because Chris Kendall nailed it. I forget, it was 3 or 4 months ago when he asked me. We had talked about whether lying was good or bad, and my rule of thumb was that if you lie for your own benefit, it's bad. If you lie for the other person's benefit, it's probably a good thing. For example, if my wife is in the hospital and she has an hour to live and she asks me, "Hun, am I going to die?" I would say, "Of course not. You're going to get through this, etc." But Chris asked, "What is so talk about framing? What all the gurus and all the experts will tell you is the win-win. What if the lie benefited both people?" What do you think about that, Tim?
No.
I'm pretty sure lying is wrong in all circumstances.
I just think it's bad. I understand that lying is a gray area. I understand there's benefit to manipulation and there's benefit to lying. But what do you want me to say? What do you want from me? I'm just saying that there's a gray area when it comes to
we're having a discussion on a talk show, that's all. We're just fleshing it out. There's no right or wrong. I'm just saying, what do you think about it?
It's a gray area. I think it has to go on.
I think it's absolutely lying is wrong in all circumstances. Because it doesn't give the other person the chance to make their own judgment. You are making a prejudgment on whatever you are deciding for them is right or wrong. So,
I agree with that too. I agree with that too. It's like I understand where both you guys are coming from. It just lying is wrong. Yeah, but I mean, what are you going to do? Like if my wife did that to me, what am I going to do? Yeah, you got about 20 minutes. I don't even know why the doctor spent an hour. What are you going to do? It's wrong to do it, but what are you going to do when they're looking at you in the eyes? So.
Well, but there are many. I don't know if they're documented cases, but we hear, whether they're true or not, where the power of positive thinking does get you to live longer than the hour that you were given. There are many people who've told they have pancreatic cancer. I know this firsthand. They have 3 months to live, and they're still living. So maybe it is the power of positive thinking. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. So what the question, the point of the question is what is manipulation? Okay.
Is lying, Chris brought up, is when I said lying for my benefit's bad, lying for someone else's benefit is good, he goes, well, what if you lie for both benefit?
I don't know. What if? I don't know. What if, Chris? I don't know. I don't know. I'm getting kind of tired. My brain's not firing on all cylinders right now. I don't know. What do you say, Chris? Or Tim?
Sounds like the noble lie, kind of. Well, it's
right.
Like you could have you could have a mindset that what's being done to us as far as the manipulation and having an elite dominate the masses, that that is, for everybody's own good, really, because we got to have somebody to run the show, and why not this particular people, and every lie that we tell you, and when we pull off these elaborate hoaxes and all this stuff, it's really for your own good. And everybody benefits, but it's the noble lie. It's just like what was talked about in Plato's Republic. That's what. So there's that.
Oh yeah, you can always rationalize and justify a lie, absolutely. And I think that's how they convince others and themselves to pull these things off, because they know better than the great unwashed masses. We can't trust the great unwashed masses. They don't have the intelligence. They don't have the experience. They don't have the genes. They don't have the royal jelly. They don't have the bloodline.
No
you
royal
could
jelly.
Go on and on forever justifying that, really.
Well, that's what Plato said. That is about the unwashed masses are just a bunch of. If they're left to their own devices, would be a bunch of unrestrained, wild, seeking after their own just base, instinctual passions, and screw everything else. That's what his opinion of the masses were. So it's like, yeah, we got to lie to them. We got to keep them in check. I mean, that's what his whole idea of the perfect utopia was grounded on, is the noble lie.
Yeah. I think some of the least sophisticated, least educated people are the most pure people, because they're just not taken in by fancy hotels, fancy cars, making so much money. They just are happy with what they have, and they accept that. And sometimes they're the most pure, and I would go to them before going to somebody who had everything and was stepping over everyone else to get what he had, if I had a tough moral decision to make, because I know that they have nothing really to gain as well from the answer. So
I'll take that jab, and I'll respond to that. Tim from D.C., living in Washington, D.C., if you'd never experienced air conditioning before, much like a fancy hotel, a fancy pool, etc., would you change your mind?
Well,
that's no framing question, by the way. That's a straight up question.
Do I prefer air conditioning, or don't prefer air conditioning?
Yeah.
Well, that's all right. I grew up without it, so I'm used to it. Used to not having it. So I mean,
could you imagine working and not having it?
Well, I have listening situations when I drove forklift. There was no air conditioning in the house. It was hot, but you didn't do it.
Yeah, but you would prefer to have it, right?
Yeah, but I mean, once you get in, I didn't even really think about it. It was just hot. It was just a given. And now that I work in a cooler all day long, I mean, you know, I don't know. I can live without it. I just answer it that way. I can live without air conditioning. I don't need it.
Well, you're a better man than me. If they took away air conditioning, I would kill myself living where I live right now.
No, in the summer it would be rough out here in the humidity, for sure. But, I mean, I can live without it. I did. When the power went out, it was no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I
can live without it.
This idea of having the finer things in life is corrupting us, and I think it goes way deeper than the surface stuff. I mean, if you ask any rich person, I've interviewed a lot of rich people, and if you ask any rich person, does money make you happy? They always scoff. They always tell you, if you're an unhappy poor person, you're going to be an unhappy rich person. So really, I think, starts where, at the bottom. And there was NPR did this thing where they talked about rich people, people who all of a sudden have money compared to those who didn't. They don't stop for yield signs, crosswalks when they play Monopoly, and they're told that they're the rich person, and they slant the game in their favor. They get 2 dice where the poor person gets 1, etc. Then they act like a jerk, and I get that. I get that completely. But to say that I'm not looking for the finer, I mean, of course, that's your choice. But my wife used to say that. She's a completely different person now, and she's actually, I think she's happier with life now than she was 10 years ago. And I think it's because there's a lot less stressful things in her life than there were 10 years ago, including realizing that this world is not as stressful as we're told, which we're all finding out. With that said, I'm going to take this call. I'm going to put, the person's name is Chubbs. That's my nickname in school, by the way. Chubbs, are you there?
I am here. How are you guys?
Hello. Hey, fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing pretty all right. I'm fucking half drunk, just a
Oh, it's a Rolo.
No. No, I've been listening to this show, Paying for Truth, which is the theme of your show. So I'm going to kind of try to stick with that because, like I've been listening, you guys seem to go all over the place about that. I think my personal opinion, of course, is that you have anyone, whoever is doing research into hoaxes, these kinds of things, has a right that if they feel that the information that they are providing to people has value, they have, if they so choose, they have a right to charge for such information. You know what I mean? Now, whether on the receiving end, for example, me, I don't, I have a YouTube channel, but I don't have a website. I don't produce any videos or anything like that about, the hoaxes and everything else. But at the same time, having said that, my point is that I make the discernment of where I go. Do, I want to look at information that, someone provides. It's kind of like saying that maybe I'll see something on your YouTube channel or your website, and it's like a trailer to a movie. This is how movies work. They show you a trailer. Do you want to pay to go see the movie, right? Having seen the trailer.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so what I mean by that is that you have every right, in my opinion, to charge people to come to your site if they so choose, because it's all voluntary, right? And people say, well, you use NLP to get them to come there and all this bullshit. But you know what? Ultimately, this is my biggest problem with even all these hoaxes and everything that goes on, is that people make their choice, right? It's that it's like if I can, like Ab said, or Tim, or I don't know his real name, it doesn't matter. He says, often these hoaxes that are portrayed are probably in the legal realm, and I actually agree with that.
I agree with that.
So that means that, there's and I'm probably going to butcher this at some point, there's a Roman proverb that goes something like, and I'm not going to be able to quote it exactly, but it goes something like, he who lets himself be fooled, so be it, right? I don't know what the Latin translation to that is, or if I come close to that, but that's the whole thing that we're living in now, is that the people that perpetrate this stuff, I think they feel in their right to do so. They're like, oh, well, we're going to show you a show. We're going to fucking lie to you. And if you buy the lie, then you're the fucking idiot.
Right.
So basically, I'm sorry for the foul language. I don't know if that goes over.
Fucking A, dude. Keep it going.
You know what I mean? Like, so
yeah.
This is what's going on. It's like, it's about personal responsibility. And it's like, somehow it's like, it's a little disheartening for me. Like, I've recently just, like, I've been on this fake thing for quite a while. I've known that the JFK thing was a hoax and everything else, and 9/11 and all so forth. And I've come across, like, ab sites, fakeologist.com. I really like it. But the thing is, it goes back to when you look at people, to me, it's everybody is it's looking into the mirror, It's that what makes you say, or what makes any one of you guys tell me that the people that are perpetrating the hoaxes and have been doing it for, let's say, 2,000, 5,000 years, that they don't have a right to do that, versus, like that they don't have a right to lie to you and to deceive you. And if they can deceive you and lie to you to get you going to fighting wars and murdering each other and all this stuff, who says they don't have a right to do that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would like a reply from, anybody there that to tell me any different. That you know what I mean? Why don't they have that right? Just like
I'm confused. I'm a bit confused. What's your ultimate question? Because I'd love to have the guys answer it. What's your question?
Well, my question is, with the fakery and the lies that we get told to about whatever event, whether it's 9/11 or any event that you can think of, that we get lied to, that we get manipulated by, whether even maybe religion. I mean, whatever. We don't need to necessarily go on to anything like that, but you know what I mean. Like, I think you guys kind of know that. So what I'm saying is that the people perpetrating this, we on this flip side of the receiving of that propaganda, we say that, well, that's wrong because we're getting lied to, we're getting manipulated, and when we stand up, let's say, against that, we feel that we're in the right and those people are in the wrong, right? You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
Okay. So now my thing is that what if that those people that are perpetrating these lies and these frauds, what if they have every right to do what they do, as much as we have a right to, let's say, resist it or what have you? Is that if you're on the flip side of the fence, is what I'm saying. Like we're on one side, they're on the other side. We're on, and they're on the other side. Well, that's my question is, do they have a right to do what they do? That's basically my question.
That's an excellent question. Who wants to take a stab at that first?
Yeah, well, I'll make it real simple. And this is something I heard someone else say. I don't have any original thoughts, by the way. I just remember good stuff, and that's why I blog, actually. It's a mnemonic with an M. And my little phrase for that is, just because you have the right to do something doesn't make it right. And it's as simple as that. Just because you have the right to charge for something doesn't make it right. Just because we're using the same word with the same letters, it sounds the same, it doesn't make it an equivocating statement. So it's really that simple. Yeah, they might think they have the right to maintain all the wealth and knowledge that they have gathered over thousands of years that they just pass to each other and don't want anyone else to get a hold of. So, yeah, from their perspective, it's their right to do it, but that doesn't really make it right. And really, that's all I'm ever saying. I'm just saying we didn't ask to be lied to, we didn't appreciate being lied to, and we are going to speak out against being lied to. That's it. We're not trying to change the world. We're just letting everyone know you're being lied to. We don't like it. Maybe you won't like it too once you figure it out. But for me, it just boils down to that simple phrase.
Well, I'm not going to tell you that I like it. Definitely not. But then, see, here's I don't know how much you guys get down to the fundamentals of things. It's like like for me, for example, I watch, let's say, for example, tons of YouTube videos, and a lot of them are Americans, and people are like defending the Constitution. Oh, the Constitution gives us these God-given rights and all this stuff. And what's the first three letters in that document? Anybody want to tell me what's the first three letters?
It's a con. Sure.
It's a con. Of course, it's a con. Because the fundamental thing that, like, sometimes I wish, like, I listen to you guys, is that you emphasize the fact that as long as in any country, in any place, in whatever form, if you have government, you cannot have freedom. Because all of it is a con. When you give away your power to someone else, guess what? They are 99.99999% going to abuse the power that you give them. And the analogy I try to talk to people, like the way I try to get through to someone, is using the government technology. For example, as I say to them, well, if I steal your property through threat, coercion, all this stuff, like things like that, would you say that I was a criminal? And they would say, well, yeah, of course you are, because, that's not right. So when, like, for example, taxes, you guys talked about taxes. So when the government takes your property, which is money, right, whatever, I call it property because it's something you work for. So when they use threat, coercion, and all this stuff to take your property, what are they? And I don't mean that people say, well, the government is criminals or whatever. But I mean, it's outright, it's like they are outright criminals. So how can, and then on top of that, when you add that for example, how can, if the government derives its power from we the people in whatever country you live in, it doesn't matter. So if I don't have a right to take someone's property through the use of threat, coercion, whatever, threat of violence, imprisonment, et cetera, then how can the government do that? You know what I mean? It's like to take something, a power from me that I don't have. It's an illusion. It's not real. And this is, and you guys can stop me anytime you want if you think I'm full of shit or whatever. But what I'm saying is that nobody seems to focus on the fundamental things of this power. The power is fundamentally it's a fraud. All of it is a fraud. They pull hoaxes, they do this thing because people give away their power. And some of the power that they give away is an illusion too, because it doesn't exist. Because if they don't have the power to do what the government does, how the fuck can you give up power that you don't possess to the government? Like,
well, we do have power. We do have power.
I'm not disagreeing with you. It's once we realize that we do, and once we realize that we are sovereign, that no one actually has any power over us.
Well, I don't agree with you on the sovereign thing. That to me is a big distraction. But we do have the power to say no. I've been saying that for many, many years now. And if enough people say no, then they're either going to have to do something else or fold the tent. So you're right. You're right. I agree with you up until that last part. The sovereign thing is just not. We are not sovereign. We are dealing with people who either created us or took over, and it's survival of the fittest Darwinism here. They stole, took, whatever, and we are basically renting from them. Now, where can we go? Where can we get off the system, and do you want to get off the system? We've had many discussions about that. If you listen to Chris Kendall's Hoax Busters, I'll post a link at the end of this. You can listen to the archives of it. We've talked about this tons. We have the power to say no. The problem is where do you go from there? Where can you go where you're left alone? Wouldn't it be great if there was like an island that we can all go to?
There probably is an island, but they're on it. The system is worldwide. It's global. The system, they're expanding the system everywhere, to every place on Earth, and that's part of what's happening to this day in every third world country. They are literally putting McDonald's and parking lots up anywhere and everywhere. So their system, they're making sure they have the only game in town everywhere.
I think the people we're talking about are delusional psychopaths. Myself, I don't think they have legitimate power. They don't have a right to do what they're doing. I mean, they don't have any more right to do that to us than I have to do it to you personally, Chubbs. I don't. There's no right to do that. I mean, it's like I put out this analogy. I don't know if it's a good one or not, but it doesn't stop me from using it. That, you know, it's like here's what it is. It's a violation of trust. It's as if, like, you know, say we were living next door to each other, and I sort of over, you know, a period of months or years ingratiate myself to you by, you know, yeah, you can borrow my lawnmower, or you know, I bring you over, you know, some apples from my apple tree, whatever. We get to talking, and, you know, we become kind of friends or whatever. And then, you know, one day I'm over at your place. You got to step out of the room to go answer the phone. I just, you know, take a notion, and I just, you know, I just piss in your cereal bowl, for example. And then just congratulate the hell out of myself for being so clever, being such a clever, brilliant manipulator. It's like, what that's nuts. That's insane. It's like, what do these people do? What is their primary modus operandi is to violate trust. It's nothing particularly clever about that. And they do that, you know, they've got people conditioned to where, you know, you do it, they start on you from birth. And, you know, they feed you fluoride, you know, they're brainwashing people that it's, you know, and whatever else they're injecting into children. You know, as a child, they're doing it to you. Now, a lot of people have no chance, you know. It's like, that's absolutely, no, that's not, there's no way that I could imagine any kind of a justification whatsoever for that. It's insane. These people are insane.
And Mark.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm gonna have to roll out, dude. I gotta go.
Cool. I really appreciate this. Hopefully working out. I really do. That's what was all about.
I think what's done is done, and we're on the other side of the hill.
So can I promote your blog? Is that okay, or you want to be?
No, it's cool. Go ahead, man. We have no issues. There's zero issues right now. Everything's the way it was 4 years ago.
Wow.
Well, what's the point? It's a distraction for what we're all trying to do. So, you know, fuck it. You know.
Okay, cool. Well, I appreciate that.
We'll let it go. Now, when you come to DC, you're going to have to buy me a beer.
I don't have the money, dude.
Oh, bullshit. You can buy me a fucking, you can buy me a six-pack. We're going to get drunk on your tab.
Sure. That offer, I told you, I stay at the Westin in Alexandria. I'm there every month.
All right, well, shoot me an email. We'll hang out.
All right, dude. You got it.
All right, guys. It's been nice talking to y'all.
Later, Tim.
All right, bye.
Right now, I want to let everyone know that I had muted Chubbs only because I see this going away from the original part of the call, which is, can you really pay for truth? I would say if you would like to continue this conversation, there are at least two ways that I can recommend to, usually on a weekly or sometimes more than weekly basis. You can go to fakeologist.com. I'll post that in the companion notes. You can click on the link if you're listening to a replay of this. And every Saturday night on 9/11, sometimes, usually, Tim has the calls, and he usually interviews someone. He has a chat, so you can ask questions in the chat. Sometimes he takes calls. So that's one avenue where you can continue this conversation. If you want to go for a really long time, you want to go 4 or 5 hours, power talks every week, every Monday, usually. That's Chris Kendall that you're listening to. He has a website called hoaxbusterscall.com that redirects to a blog that he has that'll link to his TalkShoe ID and channel. And you can call him up, much like you just did here, and you can talk about anything. That guy will talk about anything from dumpster diving to man boobs.
Wow.
Which are my favorite two things to talk about. So let's wrap this up, guys. So the punchline, I guess, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. For Tim in Canada, well, for Tim in DC, he just thinks it's wrong. It's like porn to charge for this stuff. I did sense a little bit of weakness when he saw the numbers, but then he came back. Got to his senses, and he's like, "No, it doesn't matter how much it is." So that's Tim from DC's views. Tim from Canada, why don't you wrap up what your final analysis is about whether you can really pay for truth?
Yeah, my final analysis is I don't think I can do it. I think it's an individual choice. I think this information is far too valuable to charge for because there's lots of people that may not have the money that could use the information. And I also think charging taints the whole pureness and purity of what we're trying to do, which is to wake people up to the people that have all the money that are doing the manipulating. And therefore, we want to get this message out to as many people as can do. Now, I don't have a problem with people donating, although, as you know, I think most people are boners and not donors, to quote Adam Curry. But that's fine, too. I think people should have the right, or it is right, if you want to pay for information you find valuable, but I don't think it should be a requirement. But I also know on your behalf that it can be a full-time job. There is mountains of information to overcome and to go through, and it could take up your whole day, which I know it probably does for you. And you have to eat. So I see both sides of the equation, and that's why I'm right pretty much down the middle on it. But if I have to fall on one side of the fence, I will be on the no-charge side at this point.
Okay. But when you say you ended with "at this point," so you're leaving it open for the future that you might have a change?
Well, probably not, but I always leave everything open because from discovery, every time I thought I had what I thought was the solution, something like a hollow tower would come along that I wanted to completely discount and think is ridiculous. And then with a little rumination and thought, all of a sudden it's possible. So I don't want to hold myself to any firm, solid belief in anything anymore.
Right.
But at the moment, I'm going to stay on this true side of what I think is this pure side of just letting the information flow and let anyone and everyone who can get at it, because quite frankly, it's hard enough to get anyone to listen at all in any way. So one more impediment I don't think will help.
Chris, want to have a final word on it?
Well, I mean, what you're talking about with people seemingly taking the information more seriously, it's like giving it more of an air of credibility, or I think there's something to be said for that, definitely. But I don't know about doing it. It's just something that I would have to see more evidence of, I guess, that's something that's really something that is a result of going paid. But I don't know. I just I've seen some increase in people downloading. That's what the only real, I think, indicator I have to go on is just the talk shoe stats.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was saying earlier, if I have a video that's getting some views, I really don't see it reflected in the downloads on the podcast. Like there's no follow through on people trying to find out more or anything like that. It's just not. I don't. The thing is, I'm kind of in the dark on a lot of the stuff because I don't have good stats on that. So I don't know if people come to the site, they visit and then go away, or they never do come to the site, or if they are just not seeing a link to it anywhere. That's something that needs to be clarified. In other words, I don't know. I don't know if it's something that I need to tighten up on my end over here to make it more clear how to get to the calls and download them and all that. I'm just not sure at this point. But I did change my icon on YouTube, and I put my URL into my icon, and it seems that I've gotten some results from that. So maybe that's what it is. So yeah.
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt that you're not making it easy, which that's not necessarily a bad or good thing. If you make it easy, it doesn't mean that someone is qualified, to be a good visitor or a good member, whichever way you go.
Right.
I do find that when you make it difficult for people to sign up for membership, they usually last a lot longer. I've been bragging over the last almost year that I've been doing this that I haven't had a single person cancel their subscription. That actually changed. I actually had 2 cancellations out of all my members over the last 2 weeks. And one said that they only canceled because they didn't know that it was they weren't clear that it was an ongoing thing, and that if they like what they see, they'll come back and cancel, or they'll re-up again. So it's been like 1.5 people have canceled. So that really tells me, that's very unusual. I've had membership sites all my adult life, and typically you get 2-3 months worth of people sticking. We're going on 9-10 months right now where people are staying, and that just tells me it's probably not my information that's so stellar that people are staying. It's more that there's really nowhere to go, and that people really want to talk about the stuff. They're definitely out there. It's just they don't know where to go. They're all being piped to Alex Jones. You ask anyone who looks into this, they all know Alex Jones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As far as proof goes, let me post another just visitor count you can see. I posted it to the chat. And you can see that in September so far, with 5-6 days left, 53,738 visits. Now, a year ago in December 15th, I had about 2,800 people visit my site each day, on average.
So your idea from that, you're getting from that, is that people who have subscribed, they're going into visiting your site more, and these are your paid members that are taking the information more seriously. When you post something, they actually go check it out.
Oh yeah.
Usually when I post something, it's pretty much ignored on my blog. Yeah, I could, if, I'm seeing that, what you're saying, that there's a definite benefit as far as just making the information, at least on a perception level, to be more valuable. Even though it's not even changed, it's just that it would cause people to look at it differently and take it more seriously. That's something that that's definitely an interesting aspect of it, yeah. But,
by the way, I noticed that my screen capture site was down. Let me try to re-up it again and show you that. Here we go. I posted it. Yeah, here we go. All right, so take a look at this. So yeah, you can see, Wednesday, today, 1,069 unique visitors. Yesterday, 1,200. Monday, 1,600. I had a record day, like 15,000 on one of the days, like a week ago.
So
that's when it went from like 100.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Chris.
I was just looking at September. It said you had 53,738. That's unique visitors for that month.
Unique visitors, yeah.
Wow.
And the number underneath that, I'm looking at that, I should have posted that. New visitors, meaning brand new visitors, was 47,219.
So you're seeing these kind of numbers, and you're attributing it to going paid.
There's
no doubt about
1,000%, no doubt about it. Chris, went 4.5 years of getting 30 people a day, 60 people a day, 10 people showing up at our calls, 15 people showing up at our calls.
That's why I don't see now. The criticism that you're taking is people have to factor that in. That you've been doing the talks for years and years, long time, since 2008. It's been a long time. So
that's right.
I don't think people are really considering that when they're doing all the criticism on you for going paid, and then you're showing these numbers. They're saying that, okay, now all of a sudden people are taking much more of an interest in what you're saying than they ever did before. So,
well, let's put the math in front of us. Let's say that at the height of me doing the free calls on Monday with you, that we had 50 people, and I don't think that ever happened. Let's say we had 50 people, and let's say that me switching over to remember, it's not all paid; it's half and half. Let's say that my decision on December 15th of last year pissed every single of those 50 people off. Okay?
Okay.
I get 50 people today in about 10 minutes. New people. People have no idea who I am.
Yeah.
In fact, that's another part of the pay. I mean, it's not a big deal, but I just had to spend an extra $20 at bandwidth because of all the traffic that's coming in. And in fact, next month I'll have to add another $20 to get it to the next level, the way the numbers are going. So, that's why you have to charge. Someone's got to pay for that.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm not complaining. It's very profitable. It's one of the most profitable businesses out there. The only cost I have is autoresponder service and web hosting and the PayPal costs. PayPal is 4.64%. So when you factor all that stuff in, it's a very wonderful business. I'm very happy with it. But everyone wins. I win because I get to test shit out. I get to test these devices out, and I report what works, what doesn't work, and on. I'm not looking to make this commercial. The bottom line is for me, and that's what counts. It's for me. I love it, and I'm kicking myself that I didn't do this when I first started. The only reason I did for 4.5 years the free model is because I got really bad advice from my marketing friends. They said, if you raise the free bar, more people will listen to you. And that is a whopper of a lie. Complete lie.
Yeah.
Alrighty, it is now 7:25. Unless, Chris, you have anything else, we're going to wrap this up.
I don't have anything else. No.
Cool. Well, I appreciate both you and both Tims being here, and I appreciate Chubbs calling in. I'm sorry, I normally never cut off people who are respectful, and you were totally respectful, but I wanted to keep this very focused. And again, you have those two great ways to continue the conversation, either at hoaxbusterscall.com or fakeologists.com, and you can go on for on and on and on, and it will be great. And I would love to be there too. I'm there occasionally. I think, like I said, if I do the free calls every Monday, no one's going to show up. And it's very frustrating to me. I get very upset about that. So with that said, my website, if you're interested, is truthin7minutes.com. Again, there's a blog there. You can look. It's one blog entry per page. You can go page by page by page. If you want the full index of all the free articles that I have about this stuff, you sign up for my mailing list. You can cancel right after you sign up if you want. That'll bring you to my main index. And from that index, you'll see all the things that I've talked about since September 11, 2008. But that said,
if I upload
everyone have a great night.
It's okay.
What's that, Chris?
Okay if I upload this to my TalkShoe channel?
Absolutely. Anyone has permission to listen to this and to post it on, that would be fantastic. Spread the word.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man. So, appreciate it.
Sure.
Thanks, Markus. Appreciate it.
I didn't know. I thought you left it. Okay. Very good.
No.
Very good. Have a great night, guys, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.